The Cuyahoga County Council Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee is now called to order. Janine, would you please call the roll?
And just as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Castleberry.
Here.
Conwell. Ms. Conwell is absent at the moment. Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
There is a quorum. Also like the record to reflect that Councilman Schlepper is in attendance.
Excellent, excellent. Janine, has anyone signed in for public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
Committee, at this time, we will entertain a motion to approve our minutes from our May 21st meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. The minutes are approved. So the matters referred to committee today, the first item, Janine, would you read that into the record for us?
Resolution number 2025-0201, amending resolution number 2021-0010, dated 1/26/2021, which declared that public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing of various avenues, boulevards, roads, and streets located in various municipalities in connection with the 2021 to 2022 50/50 resurfacing program.
Nicole English with Public Works. So this is kind of unique in the sense that we awarded this project back in '21. It was to be done sometime between '21 and '22. We've been communicating with the city since then on the status of the project and where they stand with it, and they were having trouble getting the rest of the funds in order for this project. So essentially, earlier this year, we checked in again with them and said, are you doing the project? We're trying to close up these funds and get them off our books. And they said, no, we still can't get it together. However, we would love to partner with our neighboring city and do a different section of road. Is there any way we could swap the project? And so we went and reevaluated. We actually scored it back, the new project, we scored it in our old, when we awarded this, it actually scored better than this project, so it would have been funded if they had asked for it then. They're asking for less money. There was $210,000 we awarded them. They are only asking for $115,000 as their share of this new project. And so we feel it makes sense to go forward. We'd like to give the city the money that, so they can improve their roadway overall. And so we are requesting that we remove the Miles and Warrensville Center project from this old 50/50 list and instead put Harvard Road from Warrensville Center to Northfield. So it does reduce the county contribution. However, it lets the city get a project done that they would like to get done.
Thank you, Nicole. What was the overall project originally on the miles?
So
Our contribution?
our contribution was going to be $210,000, so it was a $420 because this is the 50/50
Okay.
project, and then this new project is $115,000. So it's actually a weird road where the center line of the road is the city boundary, so they own the north side of the street, and Highland Hills owns the south side, and Highland Hills was doing their project and said, well, while you're resurfacing half a road, it doesn't make sense, let's do the whole road. And so this really works out for both cities.
I'll open up to the committee. Any questions?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, Ms. Nicole, what's the time schedule?
So we believe they are going to get this project done this year. So this will also kind of wrap up these funds and get them off of our book as soon as they can submit for reimbursement.
And are they doing the work on the project, or are we doing
Yes.
it?
The 50/50 is always on the cities, and then we just reimburse half the end.
And what do they typically do on diversity?
Good question. I will check on that. I think each city, we leave it up to the cities on their own. We do not put in our legislation that they have to follow anything related to ours. So I can check on the cities in general, what they do.
Great, I'd like to know.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Mr. President, very briefly.
Councilman?
Thank you. Nicole, whose ward is this, or district it is in?
This is District 9.
Yeah, just make sure the council person knows, because we have the privilege of seeing this
Yep.
more intimately, and this is something important, and to be able to communicate with the two cities is something that I believe would be helpful to them.
I will send something to Councilwoman Turner. Thanks, good idea.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
through the chair. Nicole, I was just curious, with this project being removed, you said there were scored similar, was it similar scores? So this first project, the miles to Warrensville, they're going to eventually be coming back for this, though, I would assume.
So as far as scoring, you know, we score the 50/50s on a couple different things, pavement condition, ADT, if they've had a project with us in the past. So it was the last one that made our cut in this program, and the new project, if we rescored it, ended up being second ranked. So this one does score really well. However, I'm guessing Miles and Warrensville, probably the condition has gone down since then, so it might score higher if they come back and ask us. The next round of 50/50s we'll put out probably later this year for we're in 25, 26 and 27. So we do a 2-year program each time.
Great, thank you, appreciate that.
Can you share with us a little more insight into why the Miles project fell through?
Yeah, we've talked with their city engineer, you know, and at the time, he just kept saying, it's not on the city's priority. So I think other priorities were coming up, and they just, it wasn't on the top of their list. Even though they had submitted and they got it, wasn't a city priority for them to put the funding towards, but they had put it towards other roads. And so that's when we sort of talked to them this year and said, is there something else you're doing that's a county road that we could maybe look at to help you? Because we just can't keep carrying this number on our book. We wanted to try to clean up the book. So they really just said it wasn't the top priority in the
Wasn't a top
city.
priority for them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's staying within the same city. Again, I priorities do change over time, and so we understood that, but we wanted to make sure that if they could get something done, they could.
Okay, all right. And let the record reflect Councilwoman Yvonne Conwell is in attendance.
Good morning.
Any further questions on this item? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Do we need suspension?
No, it can go through readings.
Move for favorable referral for second reading.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution number 2025-0202, making an award on requisition number 15878 to CHM Warnick in the amount not to exceed $936,000 for asset management services for the Hilton Cleveland Downtown Hotel.
Nicole English again with Public Works. So this is an award of a contract for the asset manager that we use for the Hilton Hotel. This is the same vendor that we've had since 2021. However, we put a new RFQ on the street because it had been so much time that we just wanted to check what was out there and reevaluate. However, they did score the highest of the 4 that submitted. Partially, they do have a lot of information because they are in our hotel now and serving us in this purpose. But we are very happy with the services that we've been receiving. So this is a 3-year contract. We pay them monthly. The monthly retainer is $24,000 plus $1,000 of expenses if they use them because they do come into town every so often, with 3 one-year renewals mutually agreed on after the initial 3-year period. We currently pay them $26,000 a month, and so we had negotiated a lower rate to start. I kind of pushed on them that we're having some budget issues, and that we're going to be done with the refresh this year, and so that was part of the increase of their work, that they were helping us coordinate the refresh at the hotel, and so I was able to negotiate a little bit down per month. It does go up $1,000 a month every year for the next 2, but that's just inflation. So for those of you who haven't been here the whole time, they really help us with every part of running a hotel, right? That's not the county's business. That's not what we know best. So they are our interface between us and Hilton, who we have a management agreement with to run the hotel that the county owns. And so they coordinate all the financials. They coordinate any changes in the market that are happening. They essentially watch all their sales goals and make sure we're hitting them, interface between the convention center and the hotel as well. So the primary people they deal with is me on the public works side, just keeping the building going and all that kind of stuff. And then Director Walter P. and Mr. Chambers in fiscal. So we're kind of like a three-person operation that manages with CHM Warnick in the hotel. They handle more of the financial side. I handle kind of the building side of that. So there are interface. If you've seen Larry Trabolsi is the same person who's been since 2021. He's presented to council here and there. Happy to bring him in at some point even and maybe just do a little update on the hotel because I think it's been a little while. If you guys are interested, committee of the whole, wherever you'd want to do that. But this is their contract going forward. It does expire. Their current contract expires at the end of June because we missed committee. It was lined up to go through readings, but now I would ask for 2 readings if possible, just so we don't have a gap in coverage.
Okay, any questions from the committee?
Yes.
Councilwoman?
Through the chair, how often is the communication between you and them? Nicole?
Sometimes almost daily, if things are happening. So right now, we're working on a couple different things related to the building and the improvements. So honestly, I am communicating with him practically daily. When things are not going on, you know, it could be, we check in every other week. We do have a monthly report that we get from them. That's something that we can, the internal review, you know, it's got some proprietary information. And then they give us a quarterly public report that we can share out publicly too, and just how the hotel's doing performance. And then annually, we do the budget towards the end of the year. And so then we're really kind of intense because we're working on approving their budget. And so we meet more often then too. So it kind of ebbs and flows as to how often, but we do have check-ins quite often with them.
How often do council see those monthly reports?
We can send them to you whenever you want.
Thank
Yeah, happy to do that.
Mr. Chairman.
Council President?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, to Nicole. Is this contract paid for out of the revenue from the hotel, or is it paid for from the general fund?
It is paid for out of the general fund. I would have to ask Walter if he reimburses out of the account or not. But it is set up to come out of the general fund.
Okay, so if you could find out about the reimbursement and let me know.
Will do.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Councilman.
through the chair. Nicole, when you mentioned some improvements, the hotel, you're talking remodeling improvements as well, or?
Yeah, so hotels in general refresh about every 7 years, right? So the hotel has been open since 2016. We were able to punt a little bit because the COVID year, it wasn't as, used as well. So it was we would call it kind of a minor refresh that was done, wallpaper, new beds, some of the countertops that have been scratched up, some carpet, that kind of thing. Not a full scale, we didn't take everything out of the hotel and put everything back. So there's been some refresh. The lobby is getting some new furniture. So where it's been heavier used. And so that will be finishing up later this summer. So if you've been over there, you might not notice it because they kind of took down 3 floors at a time and then moved down the tower. But if you've been over there, you might have seen some construction activity, and that's what it's been.
No, thank you. And so, through the chair, if we, with this type of project, we overseeing it, we contract everything out?
So the
We're still,
Hilton,
how is that managed?
per the management agreement, the Hilton is able to do that. They run the contracts for that. However, we do have oversight. So we are having meetings with them to just talk through where they are on budget, who they're selecting, how the work is going, but they kind of handle the contracting of that work.
Thank you.
And also, if anybody's interested, I know when the new executive came in too, we did kind of a tour over at the hotel. If you guys haven't been and want to go, happy to show you around.
Any further questions?
Just one final, Mr. Chair. How often do they update the art, or do they?
No, we haven't updated the art. So, we spent a lot of money on that art.
I know.
So, no, it has not been updated. It's still looking good and the same. I guess if the hotel came to us and said that they're interested, we talk about it, but I think everyone's still pretty happy with it. They even have like a little book about the local art, because, I think 99% of it was locally sourced. So we have not updated that. We are looking to do an update on the tunnel that comes from the Huntington Park Garage. The videos that have been playing out of those projectors, the projectors just go bad often, and they've been replacing and they can't get bulbs. So we're looking at a new partnership maybe with the Rock Hall to do some different art in there. That would be the only place that I know we're switching some things out.
So can you find out, not that I want them to update the art, it looks pretty good, but if and when we ever do, what did they do with the old art?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We own everything, the county bought everything, we own it. So even on the refresh, the first offer was to us do we want any of this stuff? And we actually sent it out to our agencies, and HHS took some items that they distributed out. We had some tables that we took over here. So we do get first dibs at anything that comes out of the hotel. And then we are able to say, if we don't want it, then they can donate it or do what they want with it, but through our,
And we wouldn't
Right.
want to have a sale or anything like that for ourselves?
we went through that at admin, and that was lots of fun. So it depends on what this stuff is. If it's worth going to Gov Deals, we look at it and take it that way. If we don't think it's worth,
Or I was
You know,
just
yeah.
specifically on the art.
oh, the art, I would think we'll definitely talk about that if it comes up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they have any plans, and I have not heard anything about replacing art, but I'll let you know.
Any further questions? No? All right, we will entertain a motion.
For please, second reading suspension if
And with the
possible.
request for a second reading suspension.
Thank you.
So moved, and if I could have my chair name added. my chair.
Let's add Councilwoman's name, Yvonne Conwell. It has been properly moved.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilman Castleberry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right. That was
Resolution,
second reading suspension.
resolution number 2025-0203, requesting approval of an adjustment to a portion of the boundary between the city of Beechwood with Orange Village to allow certain properties to be governed by the laws of only one municipality, to allow for the effective enforcement of both municipal codes, and to avoid confusion regarding the provision of municipal services.
Hi, Pete Gerloff, Public Works. I'm the county surveyor. As mentioned, this is a corp adjustment or corp line adjustment between the city of Beechwood and the village of Orange currently. It's for a small stretch that between 271 and Orange Place. And currently it cuts through or cuts the bottom off of those existing properties, which makes it kind of difficult for the municipalities when it comes to municipal services, garbage, trash, police, fire, confuses things. So this is just a adjustment that takes that existing corp line and moves it to the center line. Clears everything up so that everything is these are in solely Beechwood, and they're also then going to share responsibility for the road maintenance because it's going to adjust it to the center line of Orange Place. So, it's pretty, both municipalities have already approved, the shift. The the village of Orange approved it just under a year ago, July 3rd, and the city of Beechwood, they approved it, May 21st of last year.
Any questions?
One. Through the chair, has this been a problem in the past with having it separated out, or?
I don't know of any specific instances. I would assume that, I think one of these is a hotel, I believe, so, and another one a car dealership, so I think they're either anticipating, like, clearing up anything that there was an anticipated problem, or just simplifying things. But they didn't mention any, like, specific problem or incidents that spurred this.
Thank you.
Further questions? Councilman?
Good morning, through the chairman. Is this this is right adjacent to Pinecrest, is that correct?
It's like the entrance into Pinecrest, yeah.
Yeah, there's that, on Orange Place, there's that circle. And I know that when they constructed that entire mall, shall we say, or shopping center, I know that there had been some boundary issues. Is this also because of the issues there? Because I know that one of the issues they were having was, you said services. I know police weren't exactly sure based on boundaries. So the movie theater, I think, was in one jurisdiction. Whole Foods was in another, and then the other side of Orange Place, where the Porsche dealership and everything is, was
Yeah.
another. So is this in response to kind of that issue?
I don't know specifically because that is significantly further down the street than this. This would be like, this is right at the entrance, more or less, off of Chagrin. So this is probably an existing problem that was caused when 271 was put in. And probably these historical properties before 271 had frontage on whatever roads were there previously. And then the highway was put in and kind of created this issue. So I believe this is just clearing up this northerly portion because the corp line at the south end of this actually takes like a 90-degree turn and then goes to the highway. So it's all the Village of Orange moving south, like after that portion, so.
Any further questions? Pete, how do you spell your last name?
Gauriliff.
Again, any further questions? If not, we will entertain a motion.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I move we refer it to the full council for second reading.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right.
Thank you.
Pete. All right. Peach. Yeah, right. Is there any miscellaneous business? If not, this meeting is now adjourned.